to protect their industries from other countries, especially ASEAN countries?
See, geographies of protectionism. Every country is following, even though they said to follow a liberal system, they are following in one way or other a policy of protectionism. But only the degree varies. The America is supposed to be the best advocate of the free trade, but now they are following all sorts of protectionism. They are talking about, the Obama administration is talking about withdrawing tax incentive for those US companies which are employing foreign nationals. And also the India, which is supposed to follow a free trade policy, if it is followed in the true spirit, it will spoil the Indian economy. To some extent, they are following the protectionism. Also China, it's not permitting other manufacturers to export freely to China. Number one, it is very difficult for foreign manufacturer to export China because of the cost factor. No other country can give the products at a cheaper rate like that of Chinese manufacturers. Even if a country is willing to do it, it's not possible. Normally, earlier it was said that regarding the implementation of the protectionism, it is said by the economists that nurture a baby, protect a child and leave the adult. This is the system a country should follow as a matter of the imposition of tariff. If any industry is at the nurturing level in any country, it should be protected, well protected, just like we take care of babies. And we have to give a certain element of protection as we are giving for a child. And we don't do that for elderly people. The same principle is to be followed everywhere. So that is the policy which every country is following, even though it is advocating the free trade.
Material from China, from Malaysia. In fact, India also is exporting iron ore to China currently. At one time they can't able to supply. Whereas what happened in China is basically currently the price of iron ore in Europe countries are too expensive. So they have to look into Asian countries. So most of the mines in Asian, let's say in Malaysia, or even look at Indonesia or in India, is, I think so the life of the mine could be maybe, it won't be last for maybe 100 years. It may be less than that now.
So, I have one question. Just now you were mentioning regarding Asian, okay? You were talking about Asian countries. Whereas we have, let's say, the giants are China and India. Okay, China is more on raw material and India is more on export. But what happened is that actually they are protecting their own country. Okay, China is protecting their own country, and India also is protecting their own country because of import and exports of the raw material and export. But as you say, we are Asian. Okay, what about the developing countries, as the Asian countries? Are they have open market in Asian countries throughout Southeast Asia or Asians?
Asia is slowly deviating from plantations to industry. Particularly the petroleum industries are coming up very fast in Malaysia. That is going to change the economic well-being of Malaysia. Because of this, today both China and India produce more than 3 times the engineers and scientists produced by USA. Since they have the ability to change the global economic dynamics for a long period of time, in the next 2 to 3 decades, capital and economic prosperity will move from the west to east. It's already happened. In the days to come, in spite of the spectacular growth of China and India, US will continue to be the largest and most powerful economy in the world for many years. This is because it has unparalleled lead in resources, science and technology, and cutting edge. How Japan developed? See, in the early part of or the latter part of the 20th century, Japan have advanced like anything. It is because of the research that was done in USA. See, whatever new research that is happening in US universities and laboratories, it was stolen and taken to Japan, and before the US entrepreneurs started to think about producing the products based on the research, the Japanese product used to flip the entire world. Only because of that, the Japan developed. The America is having an unparalleled lead in resources, science and technology, and cutting edge research. It may not be a wonder if China and India overtake USA. Of course, these two giants will overtake, but still, China and India, along with US, will produce a major role in the days to come. The power have already shifted from west to east, particularly for the two Asian giants, China and India. Thank you. In Bangalore, the Cisco spent more than 1 billion on its globalization center east, and the General Electric opened a Sankey research center. The IBM employs more people in India than in the United States. The Americans, as a result of the, what is that? The Americans, they have to get back on the treadmill to test their healthiness. In a recent speech, Mr. Obama told school children in Philadelphia that when students around the world in Bangalore and Beijing are working harder than ever and doing better than ever, he is addressing his own students, the American students. Your success in school is not just going to determine your success. It is going to determine the America's success in the 21st century. That is not a bad theme for the next 2 years of his presidency. Then Mahindra seems to have taken one of their biggest steps in building. This is the very latest news, some 2 or 3 days back. They have acquired 70% controlling stake in Sangyong, the South Korean automaker, for US dollar $463 billion. The companies in India are challenging the American ones in area that have long considered their own. That is the innovation. The Boston Consulting Group's 2000 survey of innovation, it has noted that the number of American companies on the list of top innovators is declining. What is happening? The number of Indian companies is rising in the list of innovators. It also points out that Indian firms place a higher value on innovation than the American companies. Most strikingly, the Indian companies have produced a new type of innovation, which is called by various names such as frugal reverse or Gondian. The essence of this innovation is nothing but the reduction in the price of a product or service by a breathtaking amount, 80% rather than a simple peanut like 10%. How it is done? By removing unnecessary bells and whistles. The Tata Motors is selling its people car at a price less